Good afternoon, everyone. The Sacramento City Council will come to order for a special meeting. And it is a special meeting. We welcome all of you. I would ask the clerk to please call the roll so we can establish a quorum.
Thank you. Councilwoman Ashby? Here. Councilmember Warren? Councilmember Harris? Here. Councilmember Hanson? Councilmember Jennings? Here. Councilmember Guerra? Here. And Mayor Steinberg.
I am here.
For the record, Councilmember Carr and Councilmember Schneer will be absent this evening.
Right. So let us begin this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance. If we could get up, please, I'd ask Councilmember Jeff Harris, the council member for District 3 in the rail yards, to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Salute and pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, I know that there is a lot of excitement and enthusiasm in the room, and we're enthusiastic and excited as well. But this is a public hearing, and we have the opportunity, and of course the obligation, to listen to all sides of an issue. And so while it's okay to clap or show exuberance after a particular speaker while somebody is speaking, if we could please keep the decorum in the chambers and make sure that everybody has the opportunity to participate, that would be wonderful. We have any preliminary items here before we take on the topic of the special meeting. Let me tell you what the intended order of the proceedings will be tonight. I'm going to open with a high-level overview, if you will, of how we got here and what brings us here this evening. I'm then going to hand it off to John Dangberg, and John will go through the specific terms of the proposed agreement before you using the PowerPoint. And he'll be accompanied by Dan Barrett, who's been our consultant throughout this entire process. John will then invite the Republic FC and the Burkle team, Matt Alvarez, Ben Gumpert, and of course our own Kevin Nagel, to the podium to speak on behalf of the Republic. We will then hear public testimony. Now, thus far we have how many? 23?
21.
21 people signed up, and I think that's we can easily accommodate everyone if we get a lot more. And by the way, everyone is welcome to participate. I may decide to give each side an hour apiece. I don't know yet. I think I'll hold off on that and see just what the demand is, and if we can accommodate everybody in a reasonable way, we will do that. We will then turn it back to the City Council for questions. And for a deliberation, I hope a motion and a vote. Is that all right? Sound good to everybody? All right. So let me, if I might, as the mayor of this city, kick this off and provide a little bit of context. And I want to begin by sort of stating my philosophical and heartfelt belief about our city. That Sacramento deserves it all. We deserve big region-wide amenities, and we deserve neighborhood investments for all of our neighborhoods. We deserve a safe and a compassionate city. We deserve more clean industries and more high-wage jobs. Tonight, in my opinion, is a big move in all of those directions. I want to begin by describing the process and the principles embodied in tonight's agreement. But I need to take us back a little over a year ago, about 15 or so months ago, for it was December of 2017 when Kevin Nagel and I and our respective teams flew back to New York City with the hope and the expectation that we would come back with the Major League Soccer franchise. And I'm not shy in saying that it was a great presentation, especially by the ownership group, and we were there to support it all the way. As you know, we came back not with an absolute no, but with a wait a minute from the league. There are some elements of your proposal that they believed needed some work, and it was no secret. We were very public about it. They wanted to see some additional investors that would give them the confidence that our franchise would be sustainable and would be able to grow with an ever-growing league. So when we came back in December of 2017, we really had two choices. We could have said, nice try. We did the very best that we could and moved on to other things. And certainly there are a lot of other opportunities and challenges in the city. Or we could have done what we chose to do. And that is to say, Sacramento deserves this. Sacramento has worked very hard to attract a second major league franchise. And instead of having great fanfare and a lot of press conferences, we really sort of went quiet for a number of months. And the Republic team, together with my team and our city team, worked very quietly together to try to find the right investor that would meet the league's requirement. And we talked to a lot of good people, no question about it. And then we were introduced to somebody that we already knew, Ron Burkle. I knew Ron from our Kings chapter, and some of you may have as well, and I knew Ron from my days as state Senate leader. And when we met Ron, and we met Matt Alvarez, and we met Jason Etemieux, and we met their team, we knew that this was the match. And I want to thank them. And they'll probably be thanked many times tonight for stepping up big time on behalf of the city that we all love. We spent 8 months working with Kevin Nagel and Ben Gumpert and the Republic to find the right partner who met the league's requirement of bringing long-term capital to a league that intends to be around for a long time. And this is my opportunity to say, as we have said consistently, we can't say it enough, a thank you to Kevin Nagel. And a thank you for taking this a long, long, long way. Because, man, there were a few rough moments for you along the way, and you could have easily checked out, and you didn't. And even if we disagree on a few other issues, you love Sacramento. And everybody knows you love Sacramento. We appreciate you. And we appreciate Ben Gumpert, who was by your side the entire time, working this thing day in and day out. So this was the right match. And we had a great team and have a great team. You're going to hear from John Dangberg in a few moments. Of course, he's had a long and storied career, and I don't know about this retirement business because you've been right there all along. And Dan Barrett by his side, who I knew through all the Kings chapters and is a nationally recognized expert and consultant who was our lead negotiator. And Scott White from my team was a huge part of this. And Michael Jasso and the whole city economic development team. And I, personally, because I invested myself personally in this, we negotiated. Not just, by the way, with the Burkle Group, but also with the Kellys, because they were an essential piece of this. And I now want to take the opportunity to thank the Kellys, who have stuck with the rail yards project the entire time through thick and thin. And after 4 decades, we're finally delivering big time in the rail yards. Give them a hand, please. Thank you. And I'm going to thank all of my council colleagues, but I especially want to thank Jeff Harris, whose council district this project resides, and who, especially in these latter stages, as we began, hey, is this the right thing to do? Is this going to work? Was a real partner to me throughout all this. So, from the beginning, 8 or 9 months ago, I made it clear that while the soccer project had to be primarily funded with private investment, that the city would be willing to be a partner if the public benefit clearly outweighed the costs. From the very first meeting, I laid out to our negotiating partners, and now our partners, contingent on tonight's vote, the following: that this investment and set of investments must be about more than just soccer. It must include the developable acreage east of 7th Street. That was every bit as important to us as soccer itself. We needed to not just bridge an agreement with the Republic and the new ownership, but help facilitate an agreement between the Republic and the Kellys around not just the soccer stadium site, but the other major acreage that is a big part of the project. We would not write a check directly because that's not the role of the public sector. Our contribution should be and must be primarily around infrastructure investment for the rail yards. And finally, that we support and insist on making sure that working people benefit from this major investment in our city. And thank you all for being here this evening. It took several months, but we met every single test. The investment meets every single test. A $33 million investment from the city creates a $1 billion gain for the rail yards and our city, and puts us in the lead position to be the country's next Major League Soccer franchise. How about that? Success leads to more success. Wins create the momentum for more wins. In the near term, after tonight's vote, we will rally and say proudly to the league, you asked us to deliver on a first-rate stadium. You asked us, and we have it. You asked us to demonstrate a committed fan base. And here's the opportunity to thank the fans out there. If there's one thing that stands out about Sacramento, based upon your love of soccer and your love of Sacramento, but also this community's consistent support for the Kings and everything we've ever done in this town, is that New York, the league, knows that Sacramento has the most passionate fan base in the country, and we wouldn't be here without you. So thank you. You asked us, the league, to show a city commitment. You asked us to find an additional financial partner with means. We've done it all and more. Now is the time to deliver this proud city the great news it has earned. Let's go. Let's have a great hearing tonight, okay? Mr. Dangberg.
Please, thank you. Well, thank you, Mayor, for that great introduction. Also want to thank you for your leadership and engagement in the effort to bring MLS to Sacramento. Thanks also to Scott White of your staff. He has been instrumental in bringing his coordination and expertise to the table too, and making this all work and making sure that we're all coordinated between the team, your office, the city, and Major League Soccer. So my presentation will go over some of the key terms in the preliminary term sheet, but not all of the terms. Of course, if you have a question on any of the terms, we're prepared to respond. As the mayor mentioned, I'm joined by Dan Barrett of CAA Icon, who's not only with us for the arena project and this project, but also was the lead consultant for the River Cats Rayleigh Field Stadium. So he's very familiar with Sacramento and has brought a lot of great things to Sacramento. In order to secure an expansion team, there needs to be a plan in place to develop a MLS qualified stadium that would host the team. The preliminary term sheet outlines the principal terms of a partnership to get a stadium built here in Sacramento. And it also provides for a partnership to construct some very critical infrastructure, area-wide infrastructure in the rail yards, as well as ancillary development around the stadium and the rail yards. If approved by the City Council, the term sheet would be submitted to MLS to assist MLS in its evaluation process for the award of an expansion team for Sacramento. And of course, the implementation of this term sheet is subject to an award of an expansion team. Upon an award of a team, the city would proceed along with the team to develop detailed and definitive documents to implement these terms. Not all of the terms need definitive documents, but there are some that do. And that will be coming forward in the subsequent months. I will refer to the new investor group that is headed by Mr. Burkle and Mr. Alvarez as the investor group or developer as I go through the presentation. Let me start with an overview of the stadium and the site. I first want to advise and remind everyone that this stadium project is already approved. All entitlements are in place, and so there's no action here tonight in the term sheet regarding location. That has been set. This is the location that you approved. It is in the eastern quadrant of the downtown Sacramento rail yards, just adjacent to the downtown. You can see here's this Golden One Center here. City Hall, where we sit, is right here, so we're just to the north of that is where the stadium will sit. As the mayor mentioned, the investor group intends to purchase much more than just the 14-acre stadium site. They are purchasing an additional 17 acres to do some significant development. The stadium and the ancillary development combined could exceed $1 billion worth of new capital investment and development within the rail yards. The surrounding uses are also entitled through the plans that have been approved. And I just want to emphasize how much this means to Sacramento. The rail yards was originally planned to develop from the west to the east, and infrastructure would flow from the west to the east as development occurred. What this does is leapfrogs that plan in a very positive way to jumpstart development in the eastern quadrant, because the project will bring forward infrastructure that is essential to develop that eastern end, but it is infrastructure that will also serve the balance of the rail yards. This is a huge benefit to the city and an additional commitment to Sacramento by this investment group. This is the illustration of the stadium looking to the southwest. You can see the golden towers of Tower Bridge in the backdrop there. I'm sure that's highlighted for the Tower Bridge Brigade. But a beautiful, beautiful shot, a very beautiful state-of-the-art facility with open areas for gathering and people to socialize inside the stadium. It's just absolutely state-of-the-art and spectacular, taking advantage of our wonderful weather, and it's a very open feeling facility, very similar to what we have experienced with the Golden One Center. The stadium has a seating capacity of up to 22,000 with 30 suites. It has an estimated construction cost of approximately $252 million. Again, I just want to highlight the entitlements that are approved. Those are very, very significant, especially in the state of California. We're known for our challenges and CEQA challenges, and this project is past that. All the environmental and CEQA approvals are in place. Beyond that, and here's where we can really thank Mr. Nagel for his investment, the stadium construction drawings are at 90%. And what that means is that this project is ready to go. When we started construction on the arena, I think we were at like 10% of construction drawings. We're at 90% now. on this project. And what that means is that there's the potential to start construction within 6 months or less. If we were to receive an expansion team award this month, by August or September, construction could start. Our Community Development Department has assured me that they could get through the plan check and have permits issued before the rainy season, even less than 6 months potentially for foundations and grading work, just so that they can get sufficient work done before the rain set in and move forward with vertical construction during the winter. Quick summary of some of the key terms. Again, $252 million stadium. The investor group will own the stadium. They will be responsible for design, finance, construction, operation, maintenance, capital repairs, and improvements of the facility. Very important for the city in any projects like this is the fact that they are responsible for any cost overruns that might occur during the course of construction. The term sheet includes, and they have committed to, a program for local business, small business hiring, setting goals and programs for that, as well as employment programs for employees. And I will get more into that in the community benefits section as we go forward here. The principal contribution from the city for the stadium itself is that the city in this case is going to absorb its permit fees. And what those permit fees typically pay for is the cost of staff, internal costs to inspect the building and make sure that it's being built to code during the course of construction and the plan checks and all the rest of it. The city is going to not charge the investor group developer those charges, and we will handle those internally, pay for those internally. There is also, at the point in time that a permit is issued, there is a construction excise tax that we charge on all projects. It is just a contribution to the general fund. In this case, we're going to rebate that construction excise tax back to the developer as a contribution to the capital cost of the project. That is estimated to be $181,000. It is calculated based on the cost of construction. And then secondly, with regards to use taxes generated by the project, this is something we did at the Golden One Center also in a similar form. This is a little different, but quite similar, where they will go through a program that is in place through the Board of Equalization to have a use tax direct payment permit. And what that does is capture some extra a portion of the sales tax, the use tax portion, and will allow us to retain that locally, even if the point of sale for some of those materials is outside of the city of Sacramento. If they're buying something from LA, we get some additional tax benefit. And in this case, we're going to rebate that amount to them. At the Golden One Center, the total amount was $457,000, so that's what we're using as a benchmark for this project. It could be different, and we will have better numbers once a general contractor is on board and we can look at how contracts are being broken up. We also, as the mayor mentioned, have a significant infrastructure program associated with this term sheet. In this case, we have $27.2 million worth of critical infrastructure that needs to be installed for the stadium to go in. That critical infrastructure, the city doesn't have the money to pay for that today up front, so that will be privately financed and constructed by our investor group. And what is proposed that the city would set up an enhanced infrastructure financing district. And this is a program that is a statewide program, not too many of them yet in the state of California. But what it will allow us to do is capture the city's portion of property taxes that results from development within the district. And so the district will be those shaded boundaries there, which is the area that is being acquired by the investor group. And as they develop, they create property tax revenue to the city as but-for revenue, and then we reimburse them for those infrastructure investments that they made in the rail yards. It creates a very good incentive for them to develop more quickly. The more that gets privately developed in the rail yards, the more the reimbursement is. So it's, again, but for reimbursements. Municipal services. The team, well, at events for traffic management and fire safety, emergency medical services, and the like, the city will provide municipal services for all events. And the team will be responsible for reimbursing the city for our costs, similar to what we have at the Golden One Center. In this case, we are going to waive those fees for the first 10 years for all off-site municipal services that are provided, such as traffic control. We do have a maximum of that waiver of $300,000 per year, so if our costs exceed $300,000, we will be reimbursed. And so with the 10 years, that would be a maximum of $3 million. I would like to say that based on our experience at the Golden One Center, we think it will be much less than that. Our major events at Golden One Center are $10,600 per event. And if you look at, this is for soccer events only, and if you look at the 20 soccer events, that's $212,000 a year. And so what we'll see with actual experience as we get to actual opening of the facility as to what that will be. But we are protected on the high end with the $300,000 per year. Again, similar to the Golden One Center, we are offering a digital signage plan with up to 5 digital sign locations. Those locations have not been determined at this time. Your approval of the term sheet includes no locations. It's more the program to work with them to find locations. 2 of the signs, maybe 3, would be within the rail yards. That would leave 2 to 3 outside of the rail yards at other locations. This will require us to make some minor amendments to our sign ordinance. They are not major amendments, they're minor amendments. There is also the possibility that we will take advantage of SB 31, which is a Senate bill that allowed for some exemptions or relief from Caltrans requirements for digital signs when they are associated with a major sports facility. And if we do exercise the SB 31 statute, it would take an enabling ordinance to be passed by the city. And those are all things that will come in the future. And I just want to say that is a case where there is not CEQA approval, and there would be some CEQA review of any locations. This kind of a program presents no cost to the city. It doesn't cost us anything other than perhaps an opportunity cost to do it for some other facility. But we feel this is a good investment in this facility. There, of course, is an economic benefit to the team over the long term by having the rights to these signs and these locations. The term sheet also includes a team training complex and youth academy facility, which would be 20 to 25 acres. They have agreed to a good faith effort to locate that facility within the city of Sacramento. The complex would include a training facility, roughly a 30 to 35,000 square foot building that would include all of their training equipment and offices for coaching staff and the like. It would include team fields as well as that would be exclusively used by the team, as well as fields for the MLS Youth Academy field and the program operation. We have offered that if they locate that facility within the city of Sacramento within 2 years, that we would incentivize that with a 6th digital sign location. I know that a number of you on the council have some ideas of where that could be located. They're all great ideas, and we look forward to working with you on those and doing some due diligence on those locations, as well as some outreach to the community on those potential sites. The team is very interested in looking at all of those and exploring where the best opportunities might be. Lastly, there is a 35-year non-relocation agreement that will be entered into to ensure that the city's investment and commitment to this project and the community benefits from the project will have long-term benefits. So with that, I'd like to go to the community benefit program section. As I mentioned earlier, for stadium construction, there's a business employment program, and that will set goals for local hire, small business hire, the hiring of disadvantaged persons from the city of Sacramento into apprenticeship programs. Those were very successful at the Golden One Center. I just want to remind everyone that when we brought the term sheet forward for the Golden One Center, there was no mention of that whatsoever. All of those programs and even the concept of those programs came after the preliminary term sheet and after we had a general contractor on board. And in this case, while there's not a lot of definition on the specific targets, that will all happen once a general contractor is selected, and I would assume that that's going to be a part of the general contractor selection process to see what the general contractor can bring to the table in terms of community involvement and utilization of local businesses and small businesses and hiring folks. A big piece of these programs to be successful will be the outreach and how the general contractor goes out to the community and engages the community and then trains people to come into these apprenticeship programs. An example of how they get small contractors in is they will break up large bids so that bids are small enough that a local contractor has the person power and the financial resources to be a part of the project. But again, those will come later once we have a general contractor on board. Not only have they agreed to those sorts of programs during construction, they have also agreed to establish programs for the operation of the facility. So once they are open, they will implement programs to recruit, train, and employ disadvantaged persons and youth from Sacramento. They've agreed to charitable contributions of $75,000 per year, or a total of $4.5 million over the life of the agreements. Sorry. There's the 2 points I just made. Free community youth soccer clinics that will host up to 1,000 participants per year at clubs and clinics in neighborhoods in Sacramento, disadvantaged neighborhoods, value of $3 million. Donations of equipment and gear, total value of $3,050,000 annually to these youth clubs and nonprofits. Volunteer hours, a commitment of 2,500 hours for a total of $3 million, and a contribution to soccer and futsal court and field construction and upgrade each year with a total value of approximately $1 million. They will also do $75,000 per year through their concessionaire, their food concessionaire. These are similar to programs that we see at facilities now, and they are expecting to raise $75,000 a year for local nonprofits for a total of $4.5 million. They will donate 100 tickets per game for Sacramento charities and nonprofits, a value of $3.6 million, and in addition provide the city with 10 tickets per year to be distributed through our ticket policy. When you look at the total cash value of the community benefits over the life of the program, it's $22.6 million, and that does not include the small and local business programs, apprenticeship programs, and so forth. So once an expansion team is granted to Republic FC, the city tasks will be to complete and approve the definitive documents I referenced earlier. We will need to move quickly to establish the district boundaries for the financing district, infrastructure financing district, create the public financing authority that will govern that district, and then begin to prepare the infrastructure financing plan. And concurrent with that, community development will be working on the plan check and preparing to issue the building permits, and the investor group can then start construction. So with that concludes my presentation. What I'd like to do now is invite up to the podium 3 representatives from one from the investor group and 2 from Republic FC, starting with Ben Gumpert, the President and Chief Operating Officer of Republic FC. He will be followed by Kevin Nagel, who is the Chairman and CEO of Republic FC, and then Matt Alvarez, who will be representing the investor group. And as soon as they are done, we'll get to public testimony and the council's deliberation. So,
Thank you very much, John. Excellent presentation. Very appreciate it. Mr. Gumpert, what you been up to lately?
Not a whole lot.
Okay.
Not a whole lot.
Welcome.
No, in all seriousness, thank you, Mr. Dangberg, Mayor Steinberg, members of City Council. This is a big day, and as you said, Mayor, this is our time. I've worked with many of you in the past. I've sat down with each of you individually over this agreement that we're talking about today and this community-wide push to bring MLS to our city. I appreciate you sharing your vision for your districts as well as for the entire city. As I shared with you, I grew up here too. I believe in this city just like you do. We all do. Everyone here is here for a reason, which to me underscores the importance of today's vote and the opportunity we all have in front of us. You'll hear from Kevin Nagel right after me, who you all know well, and is a man who has continuously stepped up big for Sacramento, has put his money where his mouth is time and time again. You'll hear from Matt Alvarez about why he and Ron Burkle immediately gravitated to Sacramento and our MLS bid and the near $1 billion investment they are spearheading for our city. Jason Methamu is here as well from Ron's team, who spent countless hours over the last year to bring us to this point. He deserves a lot of thanks. But at least as importantly, you will hear from some of our community partners from every background, from every corner of the city, who all have a shared love and appreciation for the impact of Republic FC. We take our responsibility seriously, not just as a good corporate citizen. We feel our bar is and should be far higher than that. Our responsibility is to use our broad platform in our community to drive positive, meaningful, and lasting change. Whether you are a young cancer patient like Matthew Harding, who inspires all of us through his perseverance. Nice goal score,
Where
Matt.
is he?
It's good to see you, buddy. Heck of a leg. Or James McDaniel, a 4th grade teacher at Washington Elementary, just down the street, who created an amazing class project around environmental sustainability ideas for our new MLS stadium and had his students present to us, to our players, to our executives last year, and we're doing it again this year. Or our partnership with Street Soccer USA and Lisa Reitzman, who's doing amazing work, creating safe spaces and programs for the homeless as well as underserved youth, just like the brand new court we dedicated yesterday in Oak Park. Or our players who are here in the middle of their season, in the middle of training every day, who are here, every single one of them,
Stand
in our
up.
chambers. Please stand up. They come from across the U.S., actually across the world, and still to a T, they have a love and appreciation for this community in Sacramento as soon as they arrive. They get it, they see it. And of course, we have our hometown boy, Cameron Owasa, who will share some words as well. We have laid out a comprehensive community benefits package, as John mentioned, but I have no doubt we will exceed those commitments demonstrably. It is what we do. In addition, our responsibility is to represent Sacramento, our indomitable city, on the national and global stage. For every TV in New York or LA or Houston, which is tuned in to see their team play against Sacramento, for every mobile screen with a highlight, there will be the crest of Sacramento Republic FC. They will see and hear the loudest fans there are in this country, including the Tower Bridge Battalion. They will see our stadium, which represents the best of Sacramento. And when we push to have our MLS All-Star game here, there will be some of the best players in the world, some of the biggest companies in the world who come to see our city, our art, our food, our character. This is and will always be about the Sacramento we are building and how much stronger we can make it together with a world-class stadium in our rail yards and an MLS franchise as a driving force in our community. Thank you all for your continued partnership, for your vision, for the city, and as we like to say, Vamos Republic. And as we've said many times, and hopefully many more, a man who kept this going the whole time, Mr. Kevin Nagel.
Good evening, or I guess it's good afternoon. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, and fellow citizens. As you know, my name is Kevin Nagel. I am excited and honored to stand with all of you this evening in anticipation of a major breakthrough for our club and our community. I cannot overstate that we would not be here today without the dedication of the thousands of people that have helped grow this movement called a republic. From our front office to our players and our coaches, to our community and corporate partners, and most importantly, our supporters. We've collectively built our identity as an indomitable to proudly represent our city. I chose to invest in this club and take on a massive financial risk and public responsibility that comes with it, frankly, because I love Sacramento. I'm also convinced that there's no platform better positioned to drive widespread social impact and civic pride than the sport of soccer. That is why I'm proud to have partnered with Ron Burkle and Matt Alvarez, who's here today. They believe in this philosophy. They believe in this community. And with their leadership will position us at the highest levels of success on and off the field. To the esteemed folks before me, I've had the privilege of working with all of you on this transformational project. And on the various endeavors and initiatives in your districts, I will continue to do so and help you all. I'm honored to work with all of you to help Sacramento reach its full potential. We're really just scratching the surface of what this city really can be and already is. Thank you for the support and your service to this community.
I mean, this is pretty awesome, guys. Thank you. Well, tonight is pretty historic, and thank you for having me, and I'm honored to be here. I became familiar with Sacramento back during my time at UC Davis decades ago, and to see the growth over the past few years of this city has been amazing to watch. Because of that, when I began working with Ron Burkle to explore Major League Soccer investments, it didn't take long to turn our focus on Sacramento. Passionate fans, the community, the opportunity for growth are clear. And over the past year, Ron, Jason Eftemew, and I have worked closely with club leadership, Mayor Steinberg, city staff, local business leaders, and Commissioner Garber and Major League Soccer to get this moment in time. Tonight's vote by City Council is a critical step in this year-long process. Let me tell you what you already know. Sacramento is without a doubt ready for Major League Soccer, and we are excited to be working in the final stages to secure MLS expansion in Sacramento. We have a world-class stadium plan located in the heart of downtown, a top 20 media market, an incredibly strong group of local investors, including Mark Friedman, Phil Oates, and especially Kevin Nagel, who stepped up to take the lead at Republic FC when it was needed most. And being at a match last year and watching nearly every single match since we've gotten involved, it's crystal clear that there's no better fan base than right here in Sacramento. Given the size of the greater Sacramento region, its diverse population, growth economy, high levels of soccer participation, and vibrant leaders helping to create energy throughout the region, there isn't a better fit for MLS than here. And I have no doubt in my mind that we'll make it a massive success together. I also would like to speak a moment about Ron Burkle and his commitment to Sacramento. I have known and worked with Ron for years. He is an exceptional leader and businessman, a proven championship-level sports franchise owner, a dedicated philanthropist, and someone who has a deep appreciation for this city. He's also a great person. Like I said, I've known him for a very long time and appreciate his vision and forward-thinking process. There's no better partner we could ask for to lead this next chapter in Republic FC. I'm a lifelong sports fan and have a deep appreciation for the power of sports, especially in a community like Sacramento where it continues to be a central focus of development. Of all of the cities where we could have chosen to focus our efforts, we chose Sacramento because we think there is an immense opportunity for the city, the region as a whole, and a successful franchise. We can't wait to build this together. I respectfully ask for your support and thank you for your leadership.
Thanks a lot, man. Thank you. You're welcome. Welcome to Sacramento, and thank you. Let us hear from the members of the public on either side of the issue. It's a very, very important part of the process. So here we go. How many speakers do we have?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have 20 speakers on this item, and because this is a special meeting, the public may speak only on the item on the agenda, and there is no opportunity for comments on matters not on the agenda. Each speaker will have 2 minutes to address the council, and you'll see a timer on the screen. My first speaker is James McDaniel, then Michael Alt, then Barry Broom.
Mr. McDaniel. Welcome.
Good evening, members of the City Council. My name is James McDaniel. I'm a 4th grade teacher at Washington Elementary. Our elementary school is a project-based learning, STEAM-focused school. Last April, our class completed a project entitled Kick It Out of the Stadium. This is where students designed the new Sac Republic Stadium, deciding on the seating capacity, overall size of the stadium, 2 categories in the leadership and energy and environmental design for certification. The idea came from the Citizen Architect campaign that the organization launched, asking community members to design a new stadium. I was contacted Sac Republic, and all the things that they say about them being community-centric are true. They've been extremely helpful in our project. First, students were inspired by the project for them being committed to being helped. The project ended successfully with Mr. Gumpert and players and some members of the organization coming and seeing the students' project, seeing them present the project to them. I was interested in seeing the design on the screen about the stadium because my own students, this process is about the design process. And the students in this 4th grade and this 5th grade class came up with their ideas, designed the stadiums, and came with this successful project. And as I said, Mr. Gumpert, a couple players and the organization came and made the project authentic for those students. And the students really walked away feeling like their voice was heard, their project was reviewed, and they had the opportunity to present their project to the organization and to other community members at the school. So I thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, and thank you to your students. Thank you.
Michael Alt and Barry Broom.
Mayor, members of council, Michael Alt with the Downtown Partnership. Mayor, I think we started this excitement at our State of Downtown breakfast in January and
Yes.
had, I think, an opportunity to really feel the excitement of where we're heading with this stadium. Sac Republic has made a huge commitment to this community, to this region. I think when we look at the rail yards and look at the opportunity for the investment, we can look at the Golden One Center as an example. We have seen the impact a facility like this has. When you look at the surrounding investment they're looking to do to create a destination, this is the right project at the right time. This will double, when you look at the full development of the rail yards, the footprint of downtown, the connection this will have to the downtown core. We are extremely excited for Sac Republic, for this city, for this community. We ask that you move forward with this today, and we are very excited about it. Thank you.
Barry Broom, and then Mike Testa.
Mayor, Council, congratulations. It's going over the finish line. Again, incredible grit, intensity, and great work by Kevin Nagel. I know it's going to be amazing to see this facility in the rail yards. 12.5 million cars drive by that every year, and it makes a statement about our community, and I'm looking
Or
forward.
light rail.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, I'm talking about the guys on the way to Tahoe. But I'm looking forward to to having our community make a statement. And of course, we know how inspiring Golden One has been. I think this is going to be even more inspiring. A lot of investors track MLS as an indicator of young up-and-coming communities. I'm looking forward to us being San Francisco's team, so we can invite the Bay Area to come up and watch our team instead of go down there and watch theirs. And it's just really celebratory. So I'm grateful to everybody in the community, the fan base, everyone that's stuck with it. It's always great to have John Dangberg in the bullpen for a utility play. He's such a great technician, and I know that this is going to be a great experience for our community, and it's going to be something really to celebrate. So thank you.
The next speaker is Mike Testa, then Carmichael Dave Waglin.
Good evening, Mayor Steinberg, members of the council. My name is Mike Testa, and I'm the president and CEO of Visit Sacramento and the Sacramento Sports Commission. There's no doubt that our city's civic infrastructure, residential appeal, and visitor economy has grown tremendously in recent years, thanks in large part to the vision and leadership of our elected officials, our private investors, and others who aren't afraid to think big for Sacramento. This stadium and the investment in the rail yards are the next step in this city's evolution. These types of investments draw outside dollars into our market and directly benefit our residents. Not only will Major League Soccer in Sacramento help us to draw visiting soccer fans, but this commitment will also open the door to a largely untapped group of visitors and residents who participate in youth and amateur sporting events. These teams from across the state and country are interested in bringing their tournaments to Sacramento, but we currently lack the fields for their competition. This plan has the ability to change that. At its core, this project is an investment for Sacramento, and we believe that the return on that investment will be powerful and long-standing for this community. A project with such broad impact cannot be ignored. Thank you for your continued vision in making Sacramento a destination for visitors of all kinds and an amazing place to live for its residents. Thanks, Mike.
Carmichael Dave comes up. This is an opportunity with the business community that's come on up here, but large, just to say a big thank you to you. To visit SAC, Mike Testa, Michael Alt, Downtown Partnership Area, of course, and GSAC, just driving so much vision here in this community. The Metro Chamber I see is here. I see Mark Friedman is here, who's always steps up for everything big in Sacramento. I just want to say thank you for
Next speaker,
Carmichael Dave.
and following Carmichael Dave is Stephanie Gielen, then Nate
You have to
Carrasco.
get up early tomorrow morning.
I do, but odds are so do you. Mr. Mayor, council members, thank you. I haven't been here in about 6 years, and here we are. I just want to thank you. I want to use my time to thank you guys and girls and everyone for your vision. I'll share a quick story, very quick, 1:40. I was up in Paradise, California a few months ago with members of the Republic, Scott Moak, Ben Gumpert, fans, people in the front office, delivering backpacks. And there was a point where I stopped and I turned and I saw people in Republic jerseys talking to people who had been through absolute horrors. And it reminded me of the power of sport and bringing togetherness. And I've been here my whole life. I've been born here. I'll raise my kids here. I'm sure I'll die here at some point. But to see the vision and the movement and the future of this city, and the fact that my 11 and 10-year-old children, who were 6 and 5 years old the last time we were here I was here for a different reason, to know that they will see the future of the city, the skyline and the development, in many parts thanks to you and your vision, also to Kevin Nagel, Ben Gumpert, who've been so amazing through this whole process and believing in this city and investing in this city and believing in this amazing fan base, which is the end-all be-all of fan bases. And you hear that coast to coast. To finally see them get what they deserve is going to bring a smile to my face. So, and many others. Thank you for taking the time to make this happen. Laws and sausages, as we spoke about this morning, Mr. Mayor, and good luck later today. Thank you so much, and I look forward to this positive vote. Thank you.
The next speaker is Nate Carrasco, then Cameron Iwasa. Nate.
Hello everyone, my name is Nate Carrasco and I play for the Academy. I've been with the Academy since the very first season. And being able to watch the club grow to the club it is today has truly been a blessing to say the least. This organization has completely changed my life. Being in this professional environment for 4 years has given me confidence, taught me discipline, and has given me a motivation to pursue my goals. Because of this club, I'm going to be the first person in my family to go to college. Soccer means a lot to me because it's not just a hobby, it's also my life. It also changed my life by keeping me focused on a goal and making me a better person on the field as well as off the field, along with great mentors teaching me along the way, like Simon Elliott and Ben Zemer. To me, having MLS in Sacramento would be a dream come true, not just for me, but for thousands of people in Sacramento. Thank you, Mayor and City Council, for your time, and please make the right decision by supporting the term sheet before you and voting yes.
Thank you.
Cameron Iwasa, and then Dr. Jonathan Portis.
Ladies and gentlemen of the council, Mayor Steinberg, good evening. My name is Cameron Iwasa, and I'm a player for the team currently. But more than that, I'm a kid that grew up here. I've lived here my whole life, other than when I was away for a brief stint. But it means so much for me to see how the city's grown over the past few years, and this is a great opportunity to grow the city even more. But there's smarter people than me that can tell you all about that. For me, my job is to go out and win games, and winning games is easier because of all these people in this room, and they show up. They show up every single game, and they deserve this. The fans are the people who drive this club, and without a doubt, these are the best fans in this country. So for them, for their continued support, for all of your continued support throughout this, I just want to say thank you, and go Republic.
Thank you, Cameron. Thank you, man.
Dr. Jonathan Porteous, then Daryl Roberts and group, then Dan Colby.
Hello there, Mayor, council members. Thanks very much. Jonathan Porteous. I'm the CEO of WellSpace Health, and I represent tens of thousands of people who live in our communities. We're a regional provider in many of the low-income communities across our region. I think I'm here, when I moved to Sacramento, I saw the diversity everyone talked about, and many of the cultural groups that now have made this their home. Football is the sport. You've got basketball covered, but soccer is something that there's a deep identification with in many of the communities in our region. Just since I can't get up here without saying something really square, I should probably also say something about how our zip code these days is more indicative of our health outcomes than our genetic code. And when I go out into the communities where we serve people, I see people playing soccer. I see kids playing soccer. I see a team that represents a group of people our young people can identify with, who are an inspiration for them. And I see a sport that brings health and promotes community. So I want to thank you very much and encourage your continued investment. Thanks.
Jonathan.
The next speaker is Daryl Roberts, and I believe he brought Antonio Alexander, Shamar Crudup, Edgar Mendez, and Michael Ordonez. Following Mr. Roberts is Dan Colby.
Don't be shy.
They have a little shyness going on. Good afternoon. Daryl Roberts, Roberts Fan Development Center. With me is Tavia Kelly, who is our site coordinator for Robla. Tavia, you want to introduce the boys?
Hi, thank you for having us here this afternoon. I have Edgar Mendez right here. I have Antonio Alexander, and I have Shamar Crudup.
Too short. Hello, my name is Antonio, and I'm part of Roberts Family Development Center after school program. member of the Roebler Championship soccer team. One of the things I like about the after-school program is that the opportunity to get exposed to things like a Christmas tree, lights, attending to Rivercats games and Kings games. I will support the new soccer team because it will be another exciting place for us to visit, a community resource for our neighborhoods.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Edgar, and I am a member of the Roebler Championship soccer team. My favorite soccer players inspired me. My dad also inspired me and my family by generation. I want to become a professional soccer player because when I see my favorite soccer teams win, I feel like I could do that too and improve with a greater victory. Even when they lost, I could get the team together and improve. That way, the team could now win. This is why I support Major League Soccer coming to Sacramento.
Hello, my name is Shamar, and I'm part of the Roberts Family Development Center after-school program, and also a member of Roebler Championship soccer team. I support the new soccer team because it brings jobs to the area. The way the Kings and Rivercats have done, employing some of our parents in the future. There is also a chance me or my teammates might want to try out too. I support bringing big league soccer into Sacramento.
And on behalf of the children and families of Roberts Family Development Center, we do support soccer in Sacramento. Thank you much for all your hard work.
Thank you, Daryl.
But I think one of the most important things I heard the kids say, on top of everything they said, and we didn't give them a round of applause for that, they're a part of a championship soccer team.
Hey!
They have proven that they are winners. They have proven that they will continue to be great soccer players. They are proven that one day they will play for this team, the Republic.
Dan Colby, then Lisa Reitzman.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. My name is Dan Colby. I'm a local emergency medicine physician, but like many of your citizens, I also moonlight or live a double life as a member of the Tower Bridge Battalion. It's not so secret when we're out there cheering our team every match. And we're an independent supporters group for Sacramento Republic. We love our club. We're an incredibly diverse group that really comes from all walks of life in Sacramento, and I think we really represent a distillation of the city. And we always say we would cheer on these guys, these players behind me. We would cheer them on even if they played on a random grass field at Southside Park. And I take pride in that. But then the question is, well, then why build this stadium if we would cheer them on anywhere? And I really think that this city, our players and our fans deserve to play in a grand theater like this stadium that is being proposed. And the club, Ben Gumpert, before him, Joe Wagner, Warren Smith, have really engaged with the fans from day one, building and designing the stadium with us in mind. It's designed around the average fan. It's not designed around the suites and the martinis and the oysters. It's designed around the fans and the supporters. And we appreciate that, and we would love to move into a stadium like this. So, today I don't just ask you, I dare you to approve this stadium, to see what we can do with it, because we would fill this stadium every match with our noise, and vamos los rojos. Thank you very much.
Lisa Reitzman, then Kiam Morton, then Nick Fornor.
Hey, good to see you. So my name is Lisa Reitzman. I'm the managing director for Street Soccer USA. And, I was 4 the first time that I scored a goal in a soccer game. And I can still remember that high. And I chased it for the next 25 years in my life. It motivated me to play high school, college, semi-pro. When I look back at my life, at all the ups and downs, the times that I had soccer and team and community, it wasn't as bad. But the years that I didn't have that were very dark. And so I'm here to represent Street Soccer USA. We're a nonprofit, and we use the power of the game to break the cycle of poverty and homelessness and abuse. We've seen the power, well, to date, we've worked with 500 people in Sacramento. And with the addition of our new street soccer court called the UC Davis Health Neighborhood Street Soccer Park in Oak Park, we expect to double that. But we've seen the power of soccer help the lives of adults experiencing homelessness in the way that it motivates them to not give up, have the motivation to find jobs and have relationships that will connect them to those. Like, for example, we have some folks working with Sac Republic now. It motivates the youth to, for their behavior, to be a little bit calmer in class, want to attend class more, and feel like they're a part of something. We've been working with the Republic FC since they started their organization and the club, and they've helped us to connect our small street soccer teams in our community to a larger community of Sacramento, where they feel a part of something bigger through the game and through the professional movement, and really providing a sense of belonging for these folks. And while we work with many families and at-risk adults today, there's still about 30,000 families who can't afford to play soccer. And we're committed to work with the Republic FC now and in the future, but with this term sheet passed, it will unlock a lot of money for nonprofits and charities that we're committed to helping get to the right parts of the neighborhood and empower the kids and empower the adults that really need it. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
Keon Morton, Nick Fornor, then Stephanie Gellin.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members. Keon Morton with the Sacramento Metro Chamber. For the Metro Chamber, this is really about two things. Strong business in terms of what you've been able to do in supporting our local ownership and going out and bringing in more folks and pushing forward with the vision of an MLS team here in Sacramento. And then additionally, with the infrastructure investments that are going to be made, allowing businesses to develop and grow beyond the footprint of the stadium into other areas of the rail yard and other areas of the city. Secondly, this is about vibrant community. And for the chamber, what that means for us, it's about talent retention, about business retention, and meaning that folks who live here have a world-class facility that they can enjoy. And then lastly, on a personal note, seeing something like this happen is really encouraging to me, because like, this kid who grew up playing soccer, taught my kids how to play soccer, had one of the best bonding moments as a father or son when I got to coach my kid. And when he comes back from college, being able to see that this is going on in the city where he grew up is really going to be even more impactful to him. So I would ask you on behalf of myself, the Metro Chamber, to please approve this and move this forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Nick Fornor, Stephanie Gillen, and then Barbara Stanton.
Good evening, Nick Fournier. I've been a Republic season ticket holder since before the first game and a battalion member shortly thereafter. I've attended almost all home games and travel to around 4 to 5 away games a season. I'm a resident of the city in District 4, and I'm against government handouts to billionaires, especially for sports stadiums. Shortly after the release of the term sheet, I took the time to read all 31 pages. After reading the term sheet, despite it providing financial benefits to a billionaire owner, I believe opposition to the agreement reflects a short-sighted view for the city. It may cost the city around $33 million in tax breaks and other administrative services, but it will result in an investment of almost $1 billion. $1 billion. $1 billion in a decades-long vacant former Superfund site. You could argue any development of the rail yards would create that tax revenue for the city, but this proposal to build a stadium, if it comes to fruition, and development of the surrounding area creates a fast-paced commitment to that development and new realized tax revenue for the city sooner than waiting for other development proposals to take hold. The term sheet results in investment from the club, in the community and creates training and employment programs for disadvantaged persons and youths. As part of the term sheet, it's reported the club has agreed to make donations of cash, time, equipment, tickets, and facilities in the city, totaling nearly $23 million over the term of the agreement. I was against this agreement from the moment I learned of it, and then I read it, and I changed my opinion. If these tax breaks are required to catapult investment in the city, then it's well worth it. This agreement is good for the team, but more importantly, it's good for the city. So I want to thank the officials with the city who worked on this term agreement for the residents, and this creates opportunity for our community. In closing, sorry, I'm going a little over. In closing, should the need to finalize and implement a binding agreement arise, I expect this chamber to ensure the spirit of this preliminary term sheet is honored, and I will be here to hold you to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have 10 more speakers. The next is Stephanie Gellin, Barbara Stanton, then Michael Barnbaum.
Good evening. Me and my husband, Dave Gillian, and our 4 boys lost our home on November 8th of this last year to the Camp Fire. And we were in a hotel and looking to go to another hotel on Thanksgiving Day, and the week before, we were called by the Sacramento Republican. They told us, we have an apartment available to you guys if you would like it. And so for us, the Sacramento Republican is more than...
Not Republican, by the way.
I'm sorry.
Just to be clear, Mr. Nagel. Clear.
Oh, boy. You can see my nerves all over me. Well, they're more than just a soccer team to me, my husband, and my boys. They gave us a home for the holidays, and they didn't just supply a home, they supplied the warmth and care and just everything you could imagine that you would need in that time of need. So
That's great. You guys doing okay?
we are, yes, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Barbara Stanton, Michael Barnbaum, then Leanne Danielson.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Barbara Stanton for a advocacy group called Ridership for the Masses. We are a transit advocacy group, and we support the new stadium, the Sac Public FC, and its fans. Soccer is recognized around the world, and for the Republic FC to join the MLS will give the team and Sacramento national and international recognition. We are happy to see that public transit is included in the term paper in the form of a possible light rail station. I would be remiss as an advocate not to have an ask. So don't anybody stone me, okay? We would like to have it included somewhere to have a percentage or small fee on the ticket sales to go to Sacramento Regional Transit District so that the fans will enjoy continuous enhanced service to and from the games without the hassle of parking or traffic hassles. Thank you. And we urge you to vote on the stadium. Go Republic.
Michael Barnbaum, Leanne Danielson, then Dr. Nathan Fairman.
Michael.
Thank you. Good evening, City Council and audience. It is a big night in Sacramento. First of all, I want to thank the strong partnership from the Sacramento Kings, Oakland A's, and Sacramento Republic FC airing all of their games on Sports 1140 KHTK, Sacramento's sports station. As you know, you can call in on the Fire Wings hotline at 339-1140 or 1-800-920-1140. Fire Wings with 21 different flavors to choose from. Log on to firewings.com and tell them that Carmichael Dave sent you. As Mayor, as you know, and as Tower Bridge Battalion member Ernest Paul Wong knows, I am Sacramento proud to be rooted in Oakland. And it takes a republic for that. I am the intercity rail consultant to President Dave Cavil and Chief Operating Officer Chris Giles on the Howard Terminal Ballpark project. And have been not only very involved on the Golden One Center project, the Howard Terminal project, but this is big for Sacramento and the development of the rail yards. Like Ridership for the Masses, and I spearheaded the group Ride Downtown 916, we too would like to go on record supporting in the term sheet, a percentage of ticket sales or portion thereof to go to Sacramento Regional Transit District to help expand the service of the Green Line to 7-day-a-week service.
Thank you, Michael.
The span of service
Time is
hours
up.
and SAC-RT as a whole for their operations. So thank you, and glory, glory, Sacramento.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaker is Leanne Danielson, Dr. Nathan Fairman, then Don Gibson.
Danielson?
Hello, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Leanne Danielson, and I'm honored to represent World Relief Sacramento this evening. In full transparency, though, I also represent the Sacramento community. And tonight, in order to stand in front of you, I'm missing the first coaches meeting of the YMCA and Republic FC Spring Soccer League, where I coach my two daughters' teams, the Mini Republic in the 3 to 4-year-old age division, and the Mighty Republic in the 5 to 7-year-old age division. I've had the privilege of knowing the team over at the Sacramento Republic Football Club for the last year and a half. In June of 2018, my office partnered with Ben Gumpert, Chris Nasser, and the rest of the Sacramento Republic team to raise awareness for the more than 65 million people the United Nations categorizes as forcibly displaced, and the more than 20 million the United Nations categorizes as refugees. Though many are not familiar with my office, we've actually been here since 1989, and we're proud to be the largest resettlement agency in the United States. We've welcomed 35,000 refugees into Sacramento, dubbing what the State Department calls Sacramento as the most welcoming city. I'd like to briefly share with you my experience partnering with the Republic FC on behalf of the most vulnerable. The idea began during a World Cup year. You see, at World Relief Sacramento, we've welcomed people from 31 nations. And I've learned the only universal language and commonality is soccer. Our idea was to create a refugee soccer tournament in our city, celebrating World Refugee Day and the strength, courage, and perseverance of those coming into our city. We reached out to the Republic XC, expecting to not get a response. But to our surprise, the organization jumped wholeheartedly into the venture with us, and together we welcomed over 1,000 people for World Refugee Day in June of 2018. Even though the day was a little bit rushed, we had some complaints from the opposing team about the quality of the field due to our high level of competition. It was a great celebration. Mr. Mayor, I would like to thank you personally for being there. We look forward to year 2 this year in June. So members of the council, Mr. Mayor, on behalf of the 35,000 people I represent, refugees and immigrants, I urge you to support the Sacramento Republic FC.
Because you only had 2 minutes, and you did a great job, by the way, but I just want to add to your comments because that event, but these are refugees from Afghanistan, from Iraq, from so many countries where people have such a hard life playing soccer, you know, under the umbrella of the Republic, and having such great competition and loving Sacramento. And it was so happy. That was one of the most memorable events of my entire tenure. It really was, just to see that Sacramento spirit and the inclusion and the diversity, and thinking about the lives that a lot of these young people left behind to come here. I hope that becomes a tradition. in our city. Hope so. So thank you very much.
Yes, so I urge you to support the Republic FC and their growth and vision as they continue to support my office and be a welcoming voice in a time when welcoming voices have become increasingly rare.
Thank you.
So Ben,
Thank you.
Dr. Nathan Fairman, then Don Gibson, then Francisco Garcia.
Thank you for having me. My name is Nathan Fairman. I think I actually represent a couple of different stakeholders tonight. I'm a longtime resident of District 3. My wife and I moved here about 15 years ago, started a family, put down roots. Appreciate the work you've done, Councilmember Harris, for us. I'm also an inaugural season ticket holder for the Sac Republic, and I am proud to represent Section 113. That's actually where most of the noise at a game comes from. It's from our section, right? But I'm a doctor at UC Davis, and I'm an associate professor there, and I am the director of supportive oncology and survivorship services, and it's really an honor for me to speak on behalf of the patients and family members and healthcare providers that I lead at the medical center, and just vouch for the strength of the partnership that we have with the club here. I want to give you 3 quick examples of how we have been able to engage and educate and inspire folks dealing with cancer throughout the region. The first we've mentioned already is Matt Harding. And I just want to say Matt is not only a UC Davis patient and a cancer survivor, but he's now a semi-retired professional soccer player. And not only that, I mean, I grew up wishing that I could be a professional soccer player. Matt had a dream debut with a goal in his first touch, basically, right? So hats off to you, Matt. Secondly, the players here do rounds regularly at the Children's Hospital at UC Davis. They read stories, they take selfies, they lift the spirits of the children that we're taking care of who are struggling with cancer, and they let them know that those kids are part of a winning team, and that's essential. Last year in June, we partnered with the club as well in front of 11,000 people in the stadium to honor and recognize those of us in the Sacramento region who are survivors of cancer. I'd invite you guys to endorse the term sheet. Appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Don Gibson, then Francisco Garcia, then Mac Worthy.
Hello, Mayor, council members. By day, I'm Don Gibson, a PhD student at UC Davis, a lab rat working on tomatoes. By night and game day, I'm a South Natomas resident, cheering on the team in a light-up bear outfit, cheering on everybody with Tower Bridge Battalion as a super fan. I'm in strong support, obviously, of this proposal. That might surprise most of the crowd. But I just want to speak from the heart. Cheering with my friends in the Tower Bridge Battalion, I've been able to make lifelong relationships with people I would have never met before from a broad section of our community. From teachers, lawyers, nurses, cooks, taxi drivers, mothers, fathers, everybody there together united as one community. We sing in English, we sing in Spanish, and even when we're feeling creative, we sing in Italian. Some of us are liberal, some of us are conservative. There are people of all faiths, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, more, and none. There are people new to this country in our supporter group. There are people new to Sacramento, like myself. And there are people that have been in Sacramento so long they cried watching Lady Bird. In a world where we all fear about different bubbles in society, where we're all in our different corners, this is one of the few opportunities I can say in my life that I've truly met a broad section of society cheering on our team for our players here in Sacramento. With our community, this would be more than just an amenity. It would be a sense of community as a permanent home so that we can all cheer together on our teams for our boys in red. And I hope you guys support the term sheet. Thank you.
Francisco Garcia, Mac Worthy, then Enriqueta Leone.
Good evening, Mayor Steinberg and council members. My name is Francisco Garcia. I've worked in catering at Golden One Center since it opened in 2016. Before that, I worked at Arco Arena for many years. I'm a member of Unite Here, Local 49. My job at Golden One Center as a Local 49 member has enabled me to get good wages, a pension, and other benefits and respect. I support development projects in downtown Sacramento that protect and raise standards for workers like me. The recent transition from Arco Arena to the new Golden One Arena is a great example where business, the city, the community, and our union work cooperatively together. In the transition, we protected our standards for pay and benefits, and we managed to avoid any labor dispute. This Sacramento Republic Soccer Stadium project can also be an exciting and successful development if we can have the similar cooperative process to make sure there are quality jobs. I hope this stadium will partner with the community to protect and raise standards for all hospitality workers. Thank you.
Next speaker is Mac Worthy, then Enriqueta Leone, then Christian Rake. Mr. Worthy here?
Next.
I don't see him. Enriqueta Leone, then Christian Rake.
I'm sorry. Hi, my name is Enriqueta Layune. I work in the Citizen Hotel for the last 10 years. Pertenezco con orgullo a la Unión Local 49. Sí.
Tú puedes hablar primero.
Y quiero decir que cuando nosotros empezamos en el City, when we started in the Citizen, we get a good job, good benefit, better life for me and my family. We have a good pension. Ya se me olvidó el seguro. I'm sorry. We have a good insurance, and every year we have a good raises, you know. And we have I'm sorry, I already say I have a pension. Everybody, every job. I'm sorry. I want to say in Spanish.
You're doing great.
It's fine.
Okay.
Si lo quieres en español es
Okay.
perfecto.
Estos trabajos se pudieron obtener sin tener una disputa laboral grande en el hotel.
Yo puedo traducir. I'm going to translate for her.
Okay, we'll give the extra time for the translation, of course, too, so
Okay.
don't worry. Finish.
Esto se debe que antes de abrir nuestro hotel, el desarrollador de la ciudad y nuestra unión trabajaron en colaboración para asegurarse que tuviéramos un proceso justo para ser parte de una unión. Esa cooperación condujo a hacer nuestros trabajos mejores también en otros hoteles y en otros lugares de empleo en el centro de la ciudad. Este proyecto de estadio es buenísimo, estamos muy felices, es una gran oportunidad para poder trabajar juntos en una manera cooperativa para tener trabajos justos. Muy felices de que nuestros jóvenes juegan soccer, pero también estaríamos muy felices que los empleados tuvieran buenos salarios y buenos beneficios. Muchas gracias.
I'm going to translate for Enriqueta Layune. Hi, my name is Enriqueta Layune. I've worked as a housekeeper at the Citizen Hotel for 10 years. I'm also a proud member of Unite Here, Local 49. Because of my good job at the Citizen, I've been able to build a good life for myself and my family. We have good, affordable medical insurance for our family. We get good raises every year. We have a pension. We've built these good jobs without having a big labor dispute at our hotel. That's because before our hotel even opened, the developer, the city, and our union all worked cooperatively to make sure that we had a fair process to join our union. That cooperation led to the creation of our good jobs and other good jobs at other hotels and workplaces downtown. This soccer stadium project is a great opportunity for us to work in a cooperative way to bring good jobs to the stadium and the surrounding district for our community. Thank you.
And Christian Rack is the final speaker on this item.
Good evening, Mayor Steinberg and members of the City Council. My name is Chris Rack, and I'm the president of Unite Here Local 49. We represent over 4,000 hotel, gaming, and food service workers in the greater Sacramento area, including the food and beverage workers at the Golden One Center. We've spoken here before regarding many other hospitality projects, and we're happy to support those projects that protect and raise the standards for our members and workers in the industry. The Sheraton Grand, the Citizen Hotel, and the Golden One Center are all examples of projects where a cooperative process between the union, developers, and the city led to quality jobs for hospitality workers. Our members in those properties have enjoyed a better quality of life, including better wages, good health care, benefits, and a pension. Hospitality jobs are often low-wage jobs that force people to live in a really difficult situation, often with multiple jobs. Our members, many of them have bought their own homes, have one job, are engaged citizens, in large part because of the quality jobs that they've been able to build. I'm pleased to report that we had a very positive initial meeting last week with the Sacramento Republic to discuss the food service jobs at the proposed soccer stadium and the hotel jobs that may be part of the surrounding development. We appreciate that the team is working with us now on how to ensure that this project is a successful development opportunity for the community. We look to complete agreements with them soon, covering the stadium and any nearby hotels. We support the idea of a public-private partnership to make the stadium and ancillary development happen, because if it is done correctly, it will lead to greater vibrancy of the downtown area and the creation of good quality jobs. Given the significant and essential public role in making this project happen, including infrastructure financing and tax rebates, we think agreements which create a path toward quality jobs for workers and labor peace for the city and the team are a critical component. It's an exciting project and opportunity. Sacramento deserves this beautiful stadium and entertainment district, and we're eager to continue building on this positive early start to make sure that this project creates quality, sustainable jobs for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you all for testifying, and obviously we encourage those early productive conversations to continue. Thank you. So let's turn it now to the City Council. Thank you all for the public testimony. We appreciate it. I'm going to begin with the council member where this project resides, and that is Councilmember Jeff Harris.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank everybody who spoke tonight. You know, a lot of really wonderful testimony. It was a joy to hear it all. Very positive. You know, it wasn't long ago we were doing this about the G1C. I wasn't on the dais at that time, but it was a pretty spirited conversation. Not everybody was in favor of that project. I'd have to say it's turned out pretty darn well for the city in many, many ways. And I know that this soccer stadium and gaining an MLS team will bring tremendous rewards to our city. You know, Mr. Mayor, with your leave, I'd like to start with a little business. I'd like to second this resolution because you need to move it. So I'm asking you if you would move this resolution.
I will move the resolution. Thank you for the honor. I appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you.
You're very welcome. You know, Daryl has worked very hard on this over the last couple of years. Our mayor, Daryl Steinberg, and his team, Scott White, have really put in the hours and the effort. I don't think we'd be here without them. You know, I want to thank Ben Gumpert and Kevin Nagel, the Burkle team, John Dangberg, all the people who have really done the heavy lifting to make this a possibility. I'm very lucky to represent District 3, which represents the rail yards and the River District, South Natomas and East Sac as well, but to be the representative for a project like this is really very exciting. We've been working on the entitlement package for a couple of years. It's all intact. We're really ready to go with this. As Mr. Dangberg said, if we get an MLS franchise, we could have shovels in the ground in 6 months. That's a pretty exciting proposition. As representative of the rail yards, I can tell you, although it's the biggest infill development opportunity in the western United States, it's very difficult to move forward because the infrastructure needs are so great. It takes a tremendous amount of capital investment in an open space like that, and it was mentioned it was a Superfund site. The rail yards have been sitting for decades, and we're poised right now for a doubling of our downtown, 245 acres, right adjacent city center. It just represents tremendous opportunity, and bringing MLS to Sacramento is going to jumpstart the development of the rail yards. It's going to be very significant. Some people have characterized the EFID, or the Enhanced Infrastructure Improvement District, Investment District, as a tax benefit to the Burkle team. It's not. It's not a tax giveaway at all. What it is a development tool. And lacking redevelopment, this is just an absolutely excellent way to get development in an area that would take so much capital from an investor that it has been put off for decades. You know, my hat is off to Larry and Denton Kelly. They've done an awful lot to try to overcome these infrastructure hurdles. But this EFID is the tool to get us there. So this is a win all the way around. There are definite financial benefits to the city. There are development benefits. There are social benefits. There are transit benefits. Bringing MLS to Sacramento is going to be just amazing for the rail yards, but also for the river district. So that the kind of older commercial industrial area right adjacent to the rail yards, it's a prime redevelopment site. And this soccer stadium, I believe, will unlock potential and move our city forward in a very dramatic way. We've heard a lot about the heart of the team, how they engage with the community, how they give back. These are not insignificant benefits to the city. In fact, they're pretty amazing because pulling our community together makes us stronger in numerous ways. The return on our investment, our very small investment in this, which is basically just waiving fees and adding a little bit of security to the area, our return on investment is stellar. This term sheet is, I would say, an exceptional deal for the city of Sacramento. I'm proud to support it. The other day at a press conference, one of our former council members, who was not a proponent of the G1C, came out and stood with us and said, you know what? This is a great deal for Sacramento. That really said a lot to me. And as one of the people who testified tonight said, he looked at the term sheet, he was dead set against it, and then he read it. The terms that are being proposed are all really excellent for the city. Soccer is the world sport. It really is. And by elevating our Republic FC team to an MLS franchise, we really will gain a national and international stage. It's going to be great for our kids in numerous ways. The training facility complex that they're looking to bring here, there are several sites around the city that have great potential. There's one in District 1, District 2, District 5, and District 6. And we'll have to go through all that and settle where it will land. I certainly hope and intend to keep it in the city. I'm sure that everybody on the council will be focused on doing that. But that will bring tremendous benefits to the city as well as we nurture a whole generation of soccer players and fans. I could go on and on about this, but I'm going to close by leaving a message to the Board of Governors. We have the best fans. We have the best team. We have the land. We have the entitlements. We have tremendous architecture. And I believe we have the political will to show the Board of Governors that Sacramento just simply has to be the next place to gain an MLS franchise. So there you have it. In short, we've got it all, and I think you can tell I'm in support of this resolution.
Thank you, Councilmember Harris. Councilmember Steve Hansen.
Thank you, Mayor. I can't tell everybody here how different this is than 2013 when we had the term sheet for the Golden One Center. This is what you call love in one room. The fact that this is so well embraced speaks to, I think, three things in particular. One, you can't help but deny the true spirit of Sacramento that is on display through Sac Republic, that comes out through the site, the sport, and the team. There's no more unique combination than the people who've brought this forward. But I would be remiss to say something, which is for those of us who are here for the Golden One decision, you rarely get the chance to do two of these in one career. We learned so much from the first one. And we have benefited from that deal in tremendous ways. But I have to say the work of John Dangberg, Dan Barrett, Mayor Steinberg, your leadership has just been impeccable. Councilmember Harris, the Kellys, there's a whole group of people, but I'm going to come back in a minute to the people who work for Sac Republic. But I was an inaugural season ticket holder in 2014. To get me to buy a season ticket package took something special because I don't really do that for a variety of reasons. But it was the love of the city, the love of who we are, that really transcended my usual desire not to participate in things like sporting events. And, you know, that's partially because I'm not very capable at sports. I'm a better fan. But
Join the battalion.
I'm getting to that, Jeff. I have the distinction of living about 6 blocks from where this is going to happen. And I can't tell you, I've lived in that neighborhood, in that house for 12 years now. It's really remarkable that the rail yard site, which was first planned, we anticipated that UP and its predecessors would go away at some point, but it was first planned for development in the 1920s. I learned this in the Citizen Planning Academy I did in 2003, and I can't believe that 100 years almost later, we are finally doing such big things. We laid the roads, we built the bridges, we bored a tunnel, and all on this precept that this was the leap of faith that we needed. Just like when, whether it was Warren Smith or Erica Bjork or Joe Wagoner, some of those other people said, we're going to take a chance on bringing MLS here, and we're going to launch a team called Sac Republic. Their first game will be at Hughes Stadium. 23,000 people showed up. They came by light rail. And this is, yes, absolutely. Soccer fans are different. You know, yes, we have my friend Don Gibson in his outfit, Don, but we have so many families. This is truly, whether you look at this site and how important it is to turn this site around as the largest infill site, not only in our region, but at one time west of the Mississippi. But this sport, and you heard from so many people, whether it was Lisa Reitzman at Street Soccer or James, who is one of my constituents at my favorite elementary school, because we had to fight to reopen Washington Elementary. Soccer is an egalitarian sport. If you have a ball, a person, and a place to play, you can feel something that's called empowerment, that's part of being in a team. And for the people who feel like they have nothing, it lifts them up and it gives them something. And I think that is why soccer is so different than so many other sports. When I look at the folks here from Unite Here, I think of how powerful they are as part of the soccer community. And I'm proud to hear that Ben and Chris have been talking, and that we want to include those people who are fans into being the employees and part of that whole team. I'd be remiss not to say when Ron Burkle was part of the original Sacramento Kings ownership group that came to us, I got to know his team. I got to know Ron. And I have to tell you, we are in some of the best hands, other than Kevin Nagel's. We are in some of the best hands we've ever been in, with an owner and a team that understands community, partnerships, and really wants to do the right thing by the city. And so that this came back around, Mayor, is really remarkable. I hadn't met very many billionaires ever in my life prior to meeting Ron Burkle and Mark Mastroff and some of those guys. It wasn't what you expected. When you talked to him, he cared. When you wanted to see how he was going to approach labor issues, he'd already thought about it. It wasn't adversarial. It was, yeah, we got to do that. We got to figure it out because it's the right thing to do. That is Sacramento. So I talked about that team, and I believe so much that this was going to happen, Mayor, that when I was getting ready for my second term swearing in, I had a suit made. I am wearing that suit today, and under the lapel is something very important, and it says, Herbs Indomita. This jacket reminds me of our original city motto, which means indomitable city. You know, we have many names: City of Trees, City of Festivals, River City, it goes on and on. But this says something about the type of people we are. And I know that the motion has been made, and I don't wish to change it because I'm fully in support. But Mr. City Manager, Madam City Clerk, I would like us to take off founded in 1849 from our seal and put Herbs Indomita back on our city seal, because we are a people who do not give up. We are tough, we are tenacious, we are loving, and we want to see the best for our city, and that is exactly what this is an opportunity to do. So Don Garber, if you're watching and listening, and the whole Board of Governors, this is a relationship you'll never regret. This is a fan base who will love hard the team, the opportunity, and we will never disappoint. And that is the true message of who we are as a people. And so, Mr. Mayor, you've made us so proud. I can't tell you the big impact that this will make, not only our city, but our future. And so, in the immortal words of the Tower Bridge Battalion, glory, glory, Sacramento. Glory, glory.
Hanson, great comments by both colleagues here. Councilmember Guerra.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and welcome, Sacramento Republic fans. It's not only as a proud season ticket holder to be here to have this conversation, but this is an action that we're taking that on something that is going to improve our city, to create a family-friendly city, in my opinion. That we're looking at something that's going to create an economic benefit for our entire city. And I come from a council district that, when I ran, was also not too keen on the Golden One Center term sheet. And there were many folks who were concerned about the deal we were making. And in fact, my council member at the time was the assembly member who spoke up at the press conference. And also, I went into grad school with the professor who was my reader of my thesis, Dr. Robert Wasmer, economist, who also is very critical of any infrastructure project like a stadium as a potential economic engine, and was very critical of that project as well. But one thing that came clear was when Dr. Robert Wasmer from Sac State said, "This is a great deal for Sacramento." You know, you've got an economist who said that the term sheet provided an opportunity for economic growth. It didn't cost the taxpayers anything that they weren't using currently. This is about the future growth. If the enhanced infrastructure financing district, it comes to fruition, it means that the revenue that the growth of the stadium is doing is going to build the stadium in itself. And more importantly, it's the community benefits that are going back to our youth. I want to welcome also our members of Unite here. And if any of you have ever gone to a Golden One Center game or gone to the Citizen Hotel or any of the other places, they're the ones who make our experience wonderful and leave us with a great opportunity. So I want to give them a big round of applause for always making our experience wonderful. Because before we leave, they have the place ready for us. When we're there, they take care of us. And after we leave, they make sure it's ready for the next guest. And I appreciate that commitment. For Enriqueta, muchas gracias por estar aquí. Para nosotros aquí en la ciudad de Sacramento, es una ciudad en que tenemos mucho valor para la familia y para la comunidad. Y esta acción aquí nos da la oportunidad de hacer algo que va a crecer nuestra ciudad. Y la realidad es que tenemos oportunidades aquí con esta propuesta para no nomás ayudar a los trabajadores, pero también a familias en otras comunidades que no tienen recursos, que no tienen canchas de fútbol para jugar, que no tienen apoyos con consejeros. Hoy escuchamos de muchos de los maestros de las escuelas que están involucrados en esto. Lo bello de esta propuesta aquí es que no nomás es para la economía de Sacramento, pero para las familias de Sacramento. Y con eso yo digo, vamos los rojos, vamos República. Vamos, sí, vamos. I do want to thank, Matt Alvarez. Welcome to the Sacramento family. Thank you for coming out here. Appreciate that. John Dangberg, I thought you were retired. I mean, if this is retirement, I'm concerned with what your mid-30s were like, But I'm concerned for my retirement. But thank you for committing to our city even after retirement. You've delivered an amazing project. Kevin Nagel, your leadership, consistently. Every time, I ran into you, you always had that energy about the Republic. And to me, that is what keeps my energy going when I go to a game, when I go with my family. It's that kind of leadership. But I will say that a lot of credit, and I got to say, the tenacity and consistent commitment by Ben Gumpert here. It didn't matter where I went all over Sacramento. He was out there talking to Republic fans all the time, whether it was at the game, at a presentation with the players in Old Sacramento, anywhere in the city with our schools, walking over at Granite Regional Park at the soccer fields out there. I mean, the amount of energy you put on there. Thank you, Ben. You've been an amazing leader. Let's give Ben a big round of applause. You picked him right. Thank you for that. Again, this is an important, as I mentioned in Spanish here, this is an important opportunity for us because we have a piece of land that has been not producing for the city. And if we want to achieve all of the things we want for our city, if we want to achieve better parks, if we want better public services, if we want better public safety, if we want to make sure that we have the resources to uplift communities and areas that have been forgotten, like Stockton Boulevard, we need to think in the long game how we're using every piece of our land to generate the tax income, to make the challenges, to address the challenges of homelessness, of generational poverty, so that we are looking at the long term. It isn't about just this year or 5 years or 10 years. It's about when 35 years come around, have we done something to also change our city's direction? And what I feel about this proposal, unlike maybe other stadiums in the country that you sometimes hear in the papers, is that we've done the balancing act here of making sure that we're focusing on the city's portion, which is good infrastructure, and also ensuring that the private sector is focusing on its community benefits, which is to the youth. Because in the future, that is, I think, what's going to inspire our future generation, that pride in our city. I like the comments about of the refugees and immigrants. Soccer, football, as I grew up, is an international sport. It is a worldwide sport, and the barrier to entry to play soccer is so low. And in fact, I remember playing with my cousins in dirt soccer fields where we would basically chalk up the dirt, so it's nice to have grass over here now and then, but I still think, when you look all over the world, it's something that immediately you don't have to speak the same language. You just drop a soccer ball on a pitch, and next thing you know, everyone is playing. Just like Don Gibson mentioned over there. It doesn't matter whatever it is. It brings people together. And so what this stadium could do, what this MLS opportunity could provide us, what the Republic fans have done, is create a bigger sense of community. And bigger sense of community, I think, is what's going to change our region. That's how we can tackle our major issues, is when we're working together as different people, but as one city and as one region. That's what's going to make a difference. And the opportunity here, it provides that. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I got to say, because I've to the folks in my district, why I'm supporting this. It's good for our city. It's good for our kids. It's good for the long term. As any Republic fan will say, this is our home, Sacramento, SRFC. This club is for me. Go Republic.
Councilmember Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to try to be extremely brief, but I wanted to thank our city leadership, John Dangberg and Dan, who were instrumental in the Golden One Center, but also I think really led the charge on putting together this deal with our illustrious mayor, and working through the details. I want to thank Kevin Nagel, who has really went out on a limb, stepped out, wrote some big checks, really got the ball rolling and stayed with it. and then made sure that all the pieces came together and had to create a partnership that worked for everybody, but also worked for the MLS so we could bring the soccer team home. So I want to thank you for the leadership and what it took to do that. I know it was, there were some challenges along the way. I want to thank our new investor group, and the Burkle group and team that really stepped up, had shown an interest in Sacramento previously with the basketball team. And then they came back to really help round out our team for this new soccer opportunity. And really, this is another significant building block, I think, in pushing Sacramento to really one of the truly great cities in America and an international city. And so I do have one question, because I know a lot of the blueprint for the Golden One Center was in place, and this kind of worked. Actually, this may even have worked a little bit better than the Golden One Center. I know it was definitely quicker. However, as it relates to some of the things relative to local hire and the priority apprenticeship, I was not clear. John, maybe you can just explain the way the local hire program is intended to work, as well as the priority apprenticeship program, and if there's any zip codes that really get priority or specific worker types that get priority as it relates to the apprenticeship program.
Councilmember Warren, at this point in time with the term sheet, those terms are not exactly defined yet. Once the general contractor is selected, we will sit down and work on those sorts of details and the goals for specific zip codes, as well as definitions for the priority worker program that we had with the Golden One Center. In that case, it included 70, well, there was an apprenticeship program that 20% of all the work was going to be done by apprenticeships, through apprentices. 70 of those apprentices had to be either disadvantaged workers or from priority zip codes. And that's the same sort of conversation that we will have with the selected contractor if we can get those sorts of terms, and maybe even go beyond that. But it was the 70 priority workers were, it was 20 by zip code and 50 by, 20 by need and 50 by zip code.
Yeah, I'd just like to make sure we don't lose some of that. I think that kind of opportunity should not be lost as it relates to this project. I think this is a fantastic opportunity, and I think from all indications it worked very well in the previous project, and I think hopefully we can implement it here. And so, I'd just like to have some follow-up as it relates to that as we get closer. But I'm supportive of the project, supportive of the terms of the deal. I think this is a fantastic opportunity for the city of Sacramento. And I want to say congratulations to our ownership and congratulations to the city of Sacramento. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Ashby.
Thanks, Mayor. First, I'd like to thank Mindy, our clerk, for turning on the air conditioner because I'm about to pass out and die. Thank you. Holy goodness. I can't decide if my favorite part of the night is A, calling Kevin Nagel the Sacramento Republican, or B, Mike Barnbaum's advertisement for Carmichael Dave and or Hot Wings. I couldn't tell. Either were brilliant. So a fun night at City Council. I want to add some thank yous to the list, even though most of these people have already been named. I've been here for a minute, and many of these people have been working on this project for a long time. Dan Barrett, I don't know if people know how long you've been involved with the city of Sacramento, but he's the very first person we brought on to help us with any team, anywhere, any stadium, any deal, and here you still are with us. So thank you for hanging in there with Sacramento. You know, these teams, it's always somebody's early vision, right? We all know Greg, Luke, and Bill brought the Kings, and there was a little investment group, and they bought a little piece of land in Natomas, and they tried to figure it out, and the same was true here. Warren Smith and Joe Wagner had a vision, and they knew they would need help. They knew at some point somebody'd have to step in and help them. I always think of Erica Bjork every time I see any branding relative to Sacramento Republic, because she did such a good job. She brought in the Herbs Indomita. She loves this team, poured her heart into it. So I want to thank that early team that ran the first lap with the baton. And then, you know, this group that's in play now, Kevin Nagel, you believed in Sacramento and this team and every player on it and every member of your administrative team and this city and every elected official up here when no one else did. When everybody else started counting out Sacramento, the first time we didn't get it, or after the huge rally, you stayed in. And not just, you know, on Twitter or social media, but with your checkbook, with your own investments, with your family. And this stuff doesn't happen unless there's a Kevin Nagel. That's the reason we're here. He's the reason that we're all here. If it comes down to one person, this is very clearly him in my eyes. And yet Kevin, too, was told we need more owners, right? So he went and got them. And it's really exciting to see Matt and Jason here. The last time I saw you, Jason, I think I was pregnant. That little girl's in kindergarten now, just so you know. And to have Ron Burkle come back to Sacramento, I know he really wanted to invest here. I had the pleasure of getting to be with him in the last go-round, and I was excited to see him resurface for this. You guys will be right back in love with this city, I think, just where we left you a few years ago. And then Ben Gumpert and your team, clearly passionate about soccer and our city, and can't thank you enough. Scott Moak and Benny Aziz, these guys have been involved in this forever and really are the face, I think, especially Scott Moak, the face of giving in the city of Sacramento across so many venues. And I don't know what we would do without you in terms of taking care of our people, Scott. So thank you for that. And then the city team, our architect here is the same architect we turned to last time, and the architect we turned to in Centene, and the architect we've turned to on a lot of fronts. And he pretends to retire sometimes, and then we let him pretend, and then we bring him back and work on more things. But again, for the city side of the house, John Dingberg, you delivered again, so thank you very much for your hard work. You're an incredible asset. Often left out of the equation, one of the hardest jobs in the city is to be the lawyer on these deals, because the mayor, the council, we all want to throw everything in there. We don't care about the rules. We just want it all to happen. So this guy down here, Matt Ruyak, has to go through and make sure we can get what we want without, you know, landing in prison and stuff like that. It's a pretty important job. So Matt, thank you for your work too. I join my colleagues in a message to Mr. Gerber, should he be okay, whatever, so inclined to tune in to watch a council meeting. I'll say it right when he gives us the team. If I'm keeping track correctly, you asked us for owners, and then we got you some. And then you asked us for some more owners, and we got you some. And then you asked us for some more owners, and we got some. You asked us for a team, and we delivered a winning team 4 times into the playoffs, and once with a championship in like your first year, right? 5 times in the playoffs. They can't even keep track of you guys. You're always in the playoffs. And then asked for sellouts, and we gave you the best fans in any public sport, in any sport across the entire country. So congratulations to the Tower Bridge Battalion, a phenomenal group of fans. Lastly, you have asked us for a stadium. So here you go. That's every box that we have on your list. So we will look forward to your announcement to grant us an MLS team in the near-term future. We've met our obligations.
And then I want to say that on the Enhanced Infrastructure Finance District, and this is the super wonky part, it's an incredible way to do this type of infrastructure. It's a phenomenal economic development tool and one that can be replicated. So for cities that are watching or people that want to know how this works, and there were a couple of speakers who said they were originally non-believers and then they read this. What you're reading is what an Enhanced Infrastructure Finance District looks like, and that's phenomenal. The community benefits that the team brings are the easiest part to recognize, right? The family from that lost everything in the fire, the relationship with the kids who have cancer in the hospital, and we have all been touched by those stories. I have a very good friend who was married and had 3 little boys, and they were season ticket holders, and the Sac Republic was there when she got cancer, and literally they were there the day she died too. And when I went to the game, this last phenomenal game where you scored at like the last millisecond and won, as I was leaving that stadium, my friend who passed away last year, I saw her husband and her 3 little boys still sitting in their same seats that they've sat in since the first day that you guys moved to that stadium. You still represent a family to them even after losing their mom. And that's what it means to have a team like this in your community. It's important. Francisco Garcia, you're one of my favorite people in Sacramento because I love how you love your city and how you love your job and your employer and how you see your own role in helping move our city forward. I think you're an incredible guy. I'm glad you came today, and I'm really happy to hear that Unite here is in some positive conversations with the Sac Republic. I have every confidence that that will work out exactly as it should. And then one last person I think you all should meet, and I know she already knows I'm going to say this, but Izzy, would you stand up, please? Izzy's 12 years old, but last year when she was 11, she was the first girl, you listening up, Mayor? First girl to make the Sac Republic's Academy team, which is full of boys. Not gonna say she's tougher than them, but she is the goalkeeper. Bring it, right, Izzy? So Izzy and I launched an initiative last week at the Kings game called She Can Coach, because less than 15% of league administration, meaning coaches and admin, are women in soccer. And Izzy and I think it's really important that girls get in the front of this, and that little girls see big girls leading, whether that's on or off the field. And we're working with Sac Republic on this, and we're gonna be launching an entire campaign around the idea of empowering women in sports. And I'm super excited to be a part of it, and I'm really excited that Izzy is my partner on that. And it will be really fun to watch her continue to break glass ceilings in her career. She's doing pretty phenomenal since she isn't even technically a teenager yet. Good job, Izzy. I am prepared to support the term sheet tonight, but there is one piece of the term sheet that I do not like, and it's really what's not there. And so I'm going to point it out tonight because I've been here before, and I've had promises made in this same space before, and I've had to work really hard to keep some of those promises moving forward. And so Kevin and Brian and Matt and Jason, I hope, more than hope, I stop short of saying I expect, but I really hope that you recognize that we, the city of Sacramento, are putting a lot into this, and I would like to have seen the term sheet include a guarantee that the practice fields would land in the city of Sacramento. And I know it's your intent to try, but the term sheet doesn't force you. If it were up to me, it would. But you have my support anyway, and my request that you try very hard to place those practice fields somewhere in the city of Sacramento. And my commitment to you is I will do anything I can to help you achieve that goal. Thank you very much, all of you, for your investment in this city and for a great night. This is fun. As Steve said, Councilmember Hansen said, lightning rarely strikes twice, and it's really fun to be a part of such a great decision 2 times in one short career. So thank you for that opportunity.
Councilmember Jennings.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Ashby, I was not a part of the Golden One decision, and while I was supportive of that decision, I was not there, was not a part of that. So for me, lightning has just struck once, and I'm about to make sure that it hits me hard. I'm excited to be a part of something this great in Sacramento. And for those of us who have been following the Republic for a long time, we've seen an incredible product that is committed to the city of Sacramento and committed to putting an incredible product on the field of play. I happened to be at the game this past weekend, and I saw a victory, 1-0 victory. And am I looking at the record correctly, Ben, when it says that we're like in second or third place? First place? So we're in first place. I'm looking at that correctly. All right, good. Congratulations to all of you. Congratulations. The reason I like for the young people to be here, and Daryl, thank you for bringing them. Izzy, thank you for being here. All of our young people, I want to make sure that they see the greatness that are in players who have prepared themselves to move into this position. And now it's up to us to provide an environment for them to be able to continue to do it here in Sacramento. And I think if I'm hearing my colleagues correctly, I think we're prepared to move forward in that vein. So a lot of thank yous have gone out. I want to make sure that my mayor knows how much I appreciate the package that you negotiated in getting us to this point. And I think that deserves a round of applause as well. I want to thank the Republic for their commitment to youth, all the benefits that are in this package that make sure that youth soccer will be in every area of Sacramento where it does not exist today, so that we will grow this game in ways that we have not grown it to this point. I'm committed to that, whether it's the equipment, whether it's the tickets to the games, whether it's the fields that are going to be renovated, all the players that have the opportunity to come to the camps. All the things that you're doing are things that will help us to grow a championship team here. And they will learn all the benefits of being on a team where together everyone achieves more. So I appreciate the commitment to our youth. This is the largest infield development in Sacramento. And I've been here since 1986. And I've watched that field be bare and blank. And I'm committed to making sure that it doesn't stay that way any longer. So to my new teammates, Ron Burkle, who couldn't be here tonight, to Matt Alvarez, who I haven't had the chance to sit down and break bread with yet, but you said in your comments that Sacramento is ready for MLS. And if you say that, and I know that, therefore you're my new teammate. To Kevin Nagel, who has been a friend of mine since you landed in Sacramento, and you're a man of integrity with high character, and I love you with all my heart and soul. I thank you for everything you've done. I am glad to be your teammate. To Ben Gumpert, I didn't know you were a young kid that grew up in the city of Sacramento. And so many kids, they grow up in Sacramento, and then they go somewhere else, and they leave, and they never come back. I love the fact that you're committed to Sacramento, and you're still here doing great things. Thank you for being a new teammate. And to Dan and to John, for doing a great deal with the G1 Center, and now with our new Sacramento Republic Center Stadium. I think we learned from the firsthand. And I think the question that Councilmember Warren asked, I just want to follow up to make sure that when we select that contractor, that those conversations will come back before us in order to make sure that zip codes are proper and the work is proper. That will come back before us, correct?
I would guess so, and especially if you're asking for that, that is something that would.
I think that's very important. I think that's something that all of us in here want to make sure that we have some input to that.
I would just, that with the Golden One Center, those were voluntary goals and commitments, and If we're going to go into more of an agreement, that's a further discussion that we'll have to have with the King. We just keep in mind, we do not select the general contractor. This is a privately owned and developed facility. They will select the general contractor, but I am confident that as they go through the process of selecting a general contractor, that will be one of the criteria that they will use in making that selection. And then we will sit down with them and their general contractor and see what programs and goals we can establish, similar to the manner that we did that with the Sacramento Kings, which worked out very well. They exceeded every goal we set out, and I expect the same sort of cooperation and participation here.
And I do as well. And I'm confident that once you sit down with each council member, you'll hear from us the zip codes that we want to make sure that are affected by an agreement of this nature, similar to what we did with Golden One. So I'm confident that will happen as well. So this is the right project for the right time. And the only thing I'm doing right now is getting in the way of the vote. So with that, Mayor, I'm going to shut up. And I'm going to say, let's call for the question.
I'm going to say one more thing as the final word. First of all, anybody who brought their Sac Republic, put it on, including members of the council here. So as soon as this vote is cast, I'm pressing the send button here. I emailed Commissioner Garber letting him know that the council on a unanimous vote said it's time to bring Major League Soccer to Sacramento. All in favor? Favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? That's a unanimous vote. Send! Out of here.